Hello, this is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm, The Weight of Objects, Clearing Your Space for Change. In life, we tend to have an easier time acquiring possessions than we do getting rid of them. And that is true. Some people feel like I have too much stuff, but I honestly don't keep or take anything that doesn't mean something to me. It has to mean something to me. That's like someone looked at my stuff one time and said, "It's a lot of things, but everything means something." That's good. And some people think it's busy. Other people are okay, whatever. They think my house is cool. But each person, collects stuff. And now I know a person who collects stuff, and yet then they decide, I don't know why I got this. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know why. You want this, you want to get rid of it. I was like, no, you get rid of that. Give it to Goodwill, whatever. So, each person deals with things in their own way. And sometimes it's just greed, especially if they came from a poor background. They might think that would be cool if I had that, and then they get that and they're like, I don't know why I bought that. I don't care nothing about it, Just as we harbor emotional baggage that is difficult to let go of, our lives can tend to be filled with material objects that we may feel compelled to hold on to. And like I said, it might be a status thing. There was like this sculpture that this woman wanted really bad, and it was kind of expensive. And she saved some money, and she ended up getting this sculpture. And she got this sculpture in her home, and she said, I hate it. It's so ugly. But to me, that meant I made it. If I had this sculpture in my home, I knew I'd made it. And stuff doesn't mean you made it. Those people are not conscious of how much they own and how many of their possessions are no longer adding value to your life. And that's like I said, if something you own isn't something you care about, if it doesn't add value to your life, it doesn't remind you of someone or something, an event or whatever, then it's just taking up space. It doesn't mean anything to you. They firstly hold on to material objects because this makes them feel secure or comfortable, like the woman with the sculpture. She felt if she had this sculpture, she'd made it. That she could afford this sculpture, and she got it, and she hated it. While it's true that the ownership of stuff can make you feel good for a while, it seldom satisfies the deep inner longings that nearly everyone has for fulfillment and satisfaction. And that's what we're looking for. If you're pursuing stuff to give you fulfillment and satisfaction, you're looking in the wrong direction. Stuff is not going to fulfill you. It can, make your life more comfortable if you get things to make you more comfortable. And it's not going to satisfy you. Because if you're filling a hole with stuff, it's not really going to be full. There's never going to be enough stuff to fill that hole. That has to come with love. And you have to love yourself, And, if you have a relationship with your higher power, that's going to help too. But stuff is not going to do it for you. Oh my. It is only when we are ready to let go of our baggage and be vulnerable that it becomes possible to recognize the emotional hold that our possessions can have on us. And people will give me stuff sometimes, and I'm like, oh, thank you. And I'll hold on to it because they gave it to me. But then at some point, when I feel like I don't any longer have to have it, put it in the Goodwill box because it doesn't mean anything to me. I didn't necessarily care, that sounds mean, but if I didn't care for the person who gave it to me, then it's an obligation for me to hold on to that. So when I feel like an appropriate amount of time has passed, I can slide it in the Goodwill box and not feel too guilty about it because it didn't mean anything to me. It's not uncommon to hold on to material objects because we are attached to them or fear the empty spaces that will remain if we get rid of them. And, we can become attached to things. Like I said, a lot of things are things I've inherited, that come from my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my mother, other relatives. And it makes me feel good to have them around because it makes me feel like there's a piece of them still with me. And, that's some of my personal baggage because, I miss them, and I love them. And so it makes me happy to have that little piece of something that belonged to them that reminds me of them. So there are people who, more easily can let these things go. And then I kind of question them as people, honestly. It's like, didn't you love your grandma? But we're each different in that way. So, giving away the souvenirs from a beloved voyage may feel like we are erasing the memory of that time in our life. And see, I might feel that way, and everybody's, different that way. Some people need to let some things go. Some people hold on to everything, I know a person who held on to everything for most of her life, and they got to be an older person and is like, oh God, my house is so full of stuff. Why don't you all, had all her family come and pick out what they wanted and stuff, because her house was so full of stuff she didn't have room to put one more thing. She couldn't put one more thing down. So, it's unfortunate that sometimes we pursue stuff more than we do our loved ones, We also worry that our loved ones will feel hurt if we don't keep the gifts they've given us. And like I said, sometimes after a certain amount of time, you can let that slide. It's easy to convince ourselves that unused possessions might come in handy someday, or that parting with them will cause you emotional pain. And my mom and grandma did a lot of that. They put stuff back. Well, someday we might need that, and put it in the basement or in a closet, and that comes from scarcity thinking. My grandmother was coming up during the Depression. So if you could get something, you got something, you stored it away because you might need it someday, because there might be scarcity again. And my mom kind of, would put stuff back. She'd buy stuff and save it for birthdays or holidays or whatever. It got to the point where she couldn't hide things anymore. And I actually came in and saw something that she had for me. And so she got mad because I was following my son into the room and I saw something. So she didn't end up giving it to me. She ended up giving it to my uncle and said, don't give it to her. So, there comes a point where there's just too much stuff. However, when your personal space is filled with objects, there's no room for anything new to enter and stay in your life. And that can be true. I've put old things, away in boxes or whatever, and thinking, well, when I get in my next house, it'll be bigger and I'll have room for all this stuff. So, we do that. Your collection of belongings may protect you from the uncertainties of an unknown future while keeping you stuck in the past. And like I said, that's about scarcity thinking and things. And we all like to have our memories. And no one's saying you have to give your memories away. That's certainly not something you have to do. Holding on to unnecessary possessions often goes hand in hand with holding on to pain, anger, and resentment, and letting go of your material possessions may help you release emotional baggage. Now, excuse me, that's not always true. Unnecessary possessions, a lot of people feel like are a statement of wealth, and that makes them feel like they've done good in life. So, holding on to pain, anger, and resentment, that's kind of some pop psychology there. Because most of the time we keep things that we like. that make us happy, that give us happy memories, you know? Now, there are people who do keep souvenirs of bad things. My mom was kind of one of those people. She used to put certain articles of clothing, and then I found out, and I'm like, why would you do that? You know, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that one. So, but releasing your emotional baggage, that's a lot easier. All you have to do is go get you some psychotherapy, put that baggage where it belongs, somewhere else, and get on with your life. When you make a conscious decision to fill your personal space with only the objects that you need or bring you joy, your energy level will soar. And of course, that's true. We want stuff we're going to use. We want stuff that makes us happy. Again, if something makes you feel bad in your house, if you look at a thing and it makes you feel bad, you should not have it. You should throw that away, put it to Goodwill, whatever, give it to someone else who might like it. You know, there's no reason for you to hang on to something. You know, I know somebody who kept some things from a relative because she thought they were nice things. And then she tells me, I hate that. That was so and so. She was so mean to me. And I'm like, why do you have it? Why do you have it? Well, because it's a nice, expensive thing. But you're looking at it, it makes you think of her, and she hated you, and you don't like it, and why have it? I don't know. Clearing your personal space can lead to mental clarity and improved memory. As you learn to have a more practical and temporary relationship to objects, positive changes will happen, and you'll have space to create the life that you desire. And again, of course, if you feel like that is a problem, because, you know, like I said, I don't keep anything that doesn't mean something to me. So I guess for me, I don't have that problem. I don't buy anything because it's fancy or expensive. You know, if someone gives me something, like I said, I don't like it, I'll tuck it back for, you know, a year or two till the next holiday when they give me something different, and I'll chuck it in the Goodwill. Because, you know, I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't like that. You know, it don't mean nothing to me. So, you know, objects can be heavy if they're bringing you bad memories, bad feelings, guilt, or whatever. So clear those out. Clear those out so that your house has only happy memories, happy things, you know, only in your house, you know. This is my home. It's my happy place. You know, no bad memories, no bad feelings. So that's something you can do for yourself. Think about it. Until next time.